Hello everyone, this is Julian and Cesc and welcome to Padel Smash Academy. Today we're so excited to have Rudi Kalil and Alejo Kalil, two very important people in the paddle world in the United States.
We are all things paddle.
Rudi, Alejo, welcome to the channel. Rudi, I've seen you here. We're in the Reserve Cup series. Motorola, you work for Motorola. Is one of the biggest sponsors. Tell us a little bit how that partnership came about.
You know, I think you guys know I'm very passionate about the sport. We have been involved with the sport for a few years, and we are following everything that is happening around the world. And this is the fastest growing sport in the world. I think the U.S. has been behind, right? I think the U.S. right now, pretty much everywhere you go, everywhere you travel, you can find a court, a club, whatever model it is, you can get a game. And I think we want to be, as a company, right? We are competing against giants such as Apple and Samsung that spend, ridiculous amounts of money in advertising. And we cannot go dollar to them, so we have to be creative and do different things. So we started to invest in sports partnerships back in 2007. We sponsored the Indiana Pacers and in the NBA. Then we partnered with the Brooklyn Nets, Chicago Bulls, Milwaukee Bucks.
Wow.
Then we got into MLB. We have been longtime partners of the Chicago Cubs, but then MLB opened the patch on the jerseys, so we first sponsored the San Diego Padres, and recently, last year, we sponsored the Chicago Cubs. So we have been investing in sports for some time, and I think now is the time, since we continue to do things that innovate and also finding the best way to expose our brand, knowing that the sport it's very targeted to high social classes in this country. Our Razor phone is the flagship for us to expose to this community. So, we want to be ahead of the game. I think we see what is going to happen with the sport in the country, and we want to lead.
So now so are you guys going to be sponsoring any other events, paddle events in this year, 2025?
Right now we have not committed to anything yet. I think Reserve Cup is a start.
It's a big start. It's like the top. You're going from the top there, So.
Yeah, I think in the past, I think there was a tournament in 2023 in New York, an A1 tournament.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's right.
We sponsored as well.
That's right.
Unfortunately, they didn't have other tournaments in the U.S. Reserve Cup, I think we are starting, as you were saying, with the most exclusive event, and they have 3 events. Next one is New York. We're definitely talking. We obviously want to make sure our brand is properly exposed. So I cannot say it's a done deal, but I think we have high interest of keep doing that. The Premier Paddle is also coming to Miami,
right.
So we are talking to them. So as I said, right, sports are very close to our heart. Padel is even closer to my heart personally. But, they don't have to sell to me. They have to sell to my team.
Right.
Because I'm already sold.
So, Rudi, tell us, you also are a paddle entrepreneur. Tell us, how's the club? You're the first club in the Chicago area, correct?
Correct, yeah. We opened back in December 2022.
And we did the review last year.
Yeah.
So we're looking for an update on how the club's going, how the community's going. There are more people playing paddle.
So... it's a great question, right? I think.
Well, what's the name of the club?
Yes.
The club.
No, Le Club. No, the name of the club.
Padel Clube.
Okay, Padel Clube. Good.
Yeah. So Padel Clube, Clube is club in Portuguese.
Oh,
I'm originally from Brazil. That's why
That's right, yeah.
Clube is the name of the club. So Chicago, we were the first, and we were the only. We are still the only. It's very difficult to build a community being the only one. I think we are seeing more people play.
Good.
We are seeing people play more often, but still, Chicago is the 3rd largest city in the country, right? The city is too big. It would accommodate easily 10, 15 clubs. And we are the only one. So it's developing, but slower than I would like. There are 4 projects coming this year. I'll say 2025 is still going to be like the community building mode. I think 2026 is going to be a great year for Padel in Chicago.
Are you getting people driving from Chicago there, or are you getting people from the community?
From all over, Chicago, from downtown to the club is 40 miles.
Yeah, I drove it.
Yeah. So, but there are, big suburbs like Naperville. There is another, I don't know, close to 40, Schaumburg. But we have people coming from all over. And, I have a couple or 3 guys that come from Milwaukee every week.
Wow.
Yeah, so Milwaukee is probably 60 miles, but it's all highway, so...
So what percentage of people are you getting that already knew about paddle and they're driving because they love paddle, or let's just say in their country they play paddle, versus like people who just got introduced to it?
50-50, I would say.
50, okay.
Yeah, I think 50% is aware or it comes from an international community. 50% is between locals or international that heard but never played.
Gotcha.
So
and where do you find now you've been open, 4 years, 5 years?
2 years. 2 years, 2 months.
So now you went through the transition period of a new club and all that. Where do you find the challenges right now after 2 years?
It's being the only one. It's very difficult to build the community. We are still niche, right? Because people need that sense of community. If you have another club, you can do interclubs, right?
Yeah.
Club versus club. Right. And you have a third club. I think we all experienced that in Miami, right? So if you have 2 clubs, you have 2x people playing. You have 3 clubs, you have 5x. You have 4 clubs, you have 10x.
The first club always does all the work. That's what you're doing.
Of course. So it's a lot of energy in community building. A lot of nice stuff we have been doing, right? We had the major from the USPA last year. We have some senior tournaments. So this year, I think this is really great news to share. FIP has, FIP is involved with the Premier tournaments, but also they have the FIP Rise, FIP Star tournaments to develop professional paddle. But they have promises. FIP Promises are tournaments focused on youth development, 14 and under, 16 and under, 18 and under.
Wow.
The first FIP Promises tournament that is going to be hosted in the US is at Padel Clube, April 18 to 20th. So
Congratulations.
When I was with Alejo at the Pan American Games in Mexico last year, I approached them. I knew about the tournament, so I started to talk to them and spent a lot of energy. You guys know me.
Yeah.
So I've been chasing them and not giving them a lot of air to breathe, and I finally got it. So April 18 to 20th. So we're gonna have.
That's what we really need for the sport to develop. We got to focus on the juniors, on the junior development. That's the secret. That's the future of the sport. You know what I mean? All of us can play forever, but we need to focus on that.
Well, let's talk about that, Alejo. How was your experience there at the Pan
Well,
American
yeah,
Games?
let's talk about Alejo, but he is one of the next gen future paddle promise cards.
I seen him play.
I mean, incredible. So we're so happy to have you here at the channel.
Thank you.
And tell us how you doing, how you playing, and all those exciting news.
I've been great. I think it's just an incredible moment, and I think it's just so much fun to play. And I'm so proud of my dad, and I'm so happy to have like a real tournament, because in Mundeleiner in Chicago, where we have the club, I play against adults, and it's very fun and it's good for my development, but it's not realistic, because then when I come to like the Pan Americans and the World Championships, I'm playing kids my age, and I think this FIP Promises will bring so many people and like the proper training I need for the Pan Americans. So I'm super excited, and my partner will be Oliver Dick, and I'm super excited to play with him. We played on the U.S. in 2023.
Yes.
In the World Championships, and I'm super excited to play with him.
So he's coming all the way from Argentina just to play with you.
Yeah.
Wow. You must be a very special player.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
So tell us your experience at the Pan American, and what does the United States team needs to be at a higher level?
So I think the experience is incredible. It just gives us like such a good idea of the life of an athlete. We do trainings, and I think it's just a fun experience. We meet a lot of new people. And the U.S. team is great. I think we need more exposure, because everybody looks at us down because we have Argentina, we have Spain, we have all those bigger countries. And I think the more players we get, the more chances we'll have to win. And I think we've been doing great with that so far. We've been meeting many new players, giving many new players chances to join the team, and I'm very excited for the upcoming talent.
Seems like we're playing catch up, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're so ahead and we're
Yeah.
trying to catch up,
Yeah,
you know
but
what I'm saying?
I think we'll have very powerful years.
And you still have the balance of both, building the clubs, more courts, more players,
Yeah.
and develop that. Tell me a little bit about Tato and Lorena, the two coaches for the team.
I love them both. They're both amazing people. They're great coaches. Tato was my coach because Lore was coaching the girls. Tato's a great coach. I see them a lot in Padel X in Miami, and I think they're just great coaches and great people. And I'm glad to have them back this year to coach the U.S. team, and I'm very excited for this year with them.
And do you have a coach up in Chicago, or who do you play with?
My dad is mostly my coach.
Not coaching, I can, I want to keep the good relationship with him. So
Yeah,
so we play a lot together, but he doesn't do basket work. He doesn't
Yeah.
do court work. It's most of the time as just hitting and also pick up games that helps him
Yeah.
develop
and he's also,
his skills and
He's also my agent, so I mean.
Oh my! Wow.
Well, let's talk about that. I'm sure you got a lot of people who want you to use their rackets, so let's talk about that scenario.
Yeah, I'm super happy with Wilson. Wilson is my sponsor. I'm so happy to partner with them. My dad's club is sponsored by Wilson. I love their rackets. I'm just so excited to.
So
have
which
these
racket, which
partnerships.
model racket do you use?
So I have the Bella Lights or the which one?
Bella Light?
The Bella Light. It's a great racket because I'm still young. I'm still developing. I'm using a lighter racket because I'm a right player. I don't need to be able to take it out from the line. I just need to focus on putting it in and having good volleys and bandejas, and I think this is a perfect racket for me.
So now that you mentioned that you're a right side player, you development as a player. Let's say now you have a partner that is much better than you on the right. Don't you think it's better to work on both sides to be better at it?
And that's what I do. I work on both sides. Always, whenever I play with people, besides my dad, because he always plays the left, I'm like, let me play the left, because I think it's super important to be good at both sides, because you never know when they're like, oh, I play the right. So I think it's a very handy tool to know how to play both, and that's something I can do. Even if I can't take it out from behind the line, I'm going to get the job done.
Okay, so we usually ask these to professional players, but we go to shooting questions here. So what is your best shot?
I'd say either volley or bandeja. Those are my two best shots.
Good.
I think baja de pared too, my lob. My lob was the best in.
Yeah, I remember that. You're
in
the
the-
lab master there,
Yeah,
you know?
in the Pan American Games, I had a match against Chile. We won 7-6.
Yeah, it was a tight match.
Yeah, tight match. And I think I gave more than 3,000 lobs in that match.
Probably more.
It's just-
You-
It's just I take advantage because I'm a smaller guy. I'm undersized, and I think the lob is the most important thing for me because I'm not gonna be able to beat them with my hands because they can just attack me. So anytime I had in that match, whether it's I could have attacked, I gave the lob, so we have a better chance for my left player to finish the point.
And on the Pan Americans, you play one division up, right?
Yeah.
You play higher division.
So in the World Championships,
In the World Championship.
yeah, I still play up, so I can play 14 for another year. I've been playing up since I was 12.
Wow.
So in the World Championships, didn't go as planned. That I didn't play as well as I wanted to. But I think as I get older and as I get bigger, I think I'm gonna be dominating the competition.
Wow.
That's the attitude.
That's right.
I know you've been for many, many years, a lot of years, like 14 years. How old are you now?
I'm 13 now.
13 years. You've been a multi-sport athlete.
Yes.
From tennis, ice hockey,
So baseball, right?
Baseball.
Basketball.
basketball,
Soccer.
soccer. Why paddle?
So that's a good question. I think paddle is just, in my opinion, the best sport there is out there for anybody. To be honest, it's just such a great and fun sport for me, and I love baseball. I play baseball like very competitively as well, but I think it's much harder to make pro, and because I'm very undersized and it's difficult for me to keep up. I also play up in baseball, so I just love paddle, and it's just such a great sport for me, and I've always loved racket sports, although I'd never played tennis in my life. I played tennis maybe it was like 3, 4 for a birthday party in Miami, but it's just
I remember those days.
yeah, I just
Yeah.
Padel is just such a great sport, and I just love it.
We need more Alejos here
More
to
the
develop,
youth,
you
the
know,
youth,
more
the
of the
youth.
youth. You know what I mean? So where do you see yourself 2 years from now, 3 years from now?
Really depends. I mean, high school's next year, and I gotta figure that out. But
Do you guys know what you guys are doing for high school?
Yeah, I think.
Possible.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna go to IMG Academy
Wow.
for baseball. But even if I end up not staying all 4 years, I'm gonna know how to live like an athlete. And that's just a very valuable thing to have. And whether I go and stay 4 years or take on paddle as my passion, and I think it's important because now I'll know how to live like an athlete. My nutrition is super important as well.
What do you think, at your level, what is needed for you to take your paddle game to the next level? I mean, staying here in the U.S., a lot of the players like Ornella, you know, she moved to
Yeah.
Spain. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you can share what you're gonna do with you.
So I'm going to. I think I'm gonna go see Ornella, and we're gonna go train in Spain for spring break
And summer, yeah.
and in the summer. So I think one thing that I think would be incredible is if I take 2 years at IMG and then go maybe study abroad in Spain and take paddle as my passion, because I think so far I just love paddle, and if baseball doesn't work out for me, I really want to have this by my side so I can take that at a younger age. So.
Baseball, forget about things. Chewing tobacco, speeding, you know, and the games take too long.
Yeah, you
know what I mean?
get a belly, you know.
Yeah, but this is I think what we are trying to do, right? So he's still young, and you know, when I'm not short, the mom is not short, so he's definitely gonna have good size.
Yeah.
So I think that is gonna help him a lot. So we are just, I think, giving him the tools to to have this athlete's life.
Yeah.
And I think the transition, you know, between one sport to the other won't be that
No,
difficult,
yeah.
and that's why we are, you know, I think high school would be more baseball focused.
Yeah.
But you know, there is a club in Sarasota very close. He
Yeah.
will be
Yeah.
able to play. I have already talked to the guys at IMG. I think baseball season is lighter, November, December. So if normally this is the time that you have Pan Americans and World Junior
Yeah.
Championship. So its timing is perfect. But we are also going to Spain, right? We are spending, I think, all in all, maybe 3 weeks to 4 this year. As part of the Wilson contract, they are also taking him to Malaga for a week of training, and then we are going to Alicante with Adriano, Ornella, and Claudio
Yeah.
for him to get more exposure to the game, to practice. Because again, as we were saying, right, I'm the dad, so there is so much I
Yeah.
can do with him.
Yeah.
So he doesn't do typical paddle training. What he does is play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you, as a father of a future paddle player, club owner, and all that, what does the United States needs, or what support it needs to develop the junior development?
I think there are many things, right? I think it starts with the basics. We need more courts to develop the sport in general.
Coaches too.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
Yeah.
the entire infrastructure, right?
Yeah.
You have courts, then you have the need for coach.
Yeah.
You have the courts, then you have the need for coaches, right? You have the coaches, then you have the need for tournaments. I think we
Yeah.
are probably in a much better place on the tournament side. I think that went ahead, especially because of the prize money that is involved.
Right.
You know, last year I wrote a document to the USPA suggesting that, you know, there are many clubs, you know, fighting for bigger tournaments and offering more prize money. I said, why don't you establish a rule that part of the prize money goes to a youth development fund?
Yeah.
You know, allocate 5%, 10%.
Yeah.
And with that money, you can develop the program.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, right now, you know, that is first, no funding. Second, you are competing against kids that go to play tennis that they can get a scholarship for down the road. Baseball, you know,
Yeah.
football, basketball. So I have tried many things in Chicago. I have had junior tournaments in my club that I offered to play for housing for the
Wow.
players.
Yeah,
The players
exactly.
would only have to pay for the flights.
Yeah.
And I did a senior tournament at that time, so the parents could come and play as well. So pretty much
That was
the
great.
parents will get free housing. But very little success in that. So we need think differently, and I think it starts with the basics, but you need to have a minimum funding, right? You know, we talked about Tato and Lorena.
Yeah.
They're wonderful people, but
They do it for free.
they do it for free. They
For free.
they don't have
Crazy.
resources.
I
Crazy.
think that's a great idea about donating a certain percent, but I think that could be allocated to, because this is a situation, you have the club, right? The club needs to be profitable. And a lot of these clubs are just barely being profitable. So they can't afford to give away, time, right? Because that's where they make money, renting the court. But if that money could be allocated to be used for time for juniors, okay? So juniors wouldn't have to pay for coaching or anything, but that money is allocated to pay the club.
Yeah.
Then we can get juniors to get in there and not worry about the because what it is, this is an expensive sport. The youth, it's tough to have the parents pay for these youth, and we could lose a lot of great, paddle players to other sports that is free. Let's just say.
Look at this, right?
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So you have a good idea to start. It's just how you allocate that money, or you have it somewhere where, okay, if I'm a youth, I can apply, I can get it, and that's a credit to this club. And now I don't have to worry about paying. I go there and I do.
And to be honest, right? What I think, clubs are offering prize money at the end of the day. Prize money are going to international players coming here because it's cheaper.
Stealing the money. They're
Cheaper to
taking
pay
the
the
money.
ticket and get the money. So we are not developing the sport. We are just attracting people from outside.
Sure.
Yeah.
Force the club. You don't ask the club to add on top of that. You just say, it's 10,000 prize money. It becomes 9 to the players. 1,000 goes to development fund. Development fund. What you can do? You can have Tato. You can pay Tato and Lori, right,
Yeah.
to spend some time selecting the kids.
Yeah.
And then you take these kids to somewhere. You can take the kids to Argentina. You can take
Yeah.
these kids to Mexico. You can take them to Spain,
Yeah.
right? I think parents will be very happy to co-fund,
Sure.
right? But as you're saying, it's expensive. But it has to be a balance. You cannot keep just giving money away and attract more international adult players and not,
We have to
losing. You're losing an opportunity
Yeah.
because the money is already there. Just allocate differently.
Yeah. So, as a club owner, when you make a decision to host a tournament, USPA or Red Paddle, and do you think that's a conflict? Because
To be honest, we have never hosted a Red Paddle tournament. I think now Red Paddle is deep into USPA, so I don't know. I think the calendar in general has conflicts. I think you have to streamline it. I think this year it seems to be better organized. You have the age groups created versus the open, but again, I always think that the more the better, right? It helps develop the sport.
you grew up playing sports, we come from the tennis world and all that, and when we play tennis, we play tennis for the passion of the sport. We didn't play tennis for the money, right? Don't you think it's all these money tournaments to attract people for $300, $400? They don't come here for the $300 or the $500. They come in here for the love of the sport. So don't you think that the money tournaments play against the growth of the sport? And then you bring people from the outside to take the money away, and they don't come back.
It's like a catch-22 kind of, It's
I think the first, right, the more tournaments, the better. I think prize money tournaments, I think, I wouldn't say they got out of control because it's good.
Yeah.
From one perspective, but if you look at the equation at the end of the day, how many local players we have developed? None. All the players came from outside.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Look at the top players in the USPA ranking.
Yeah.
They were not here 2 years ago when we didn't have prize money tournament. So that's what I'm saying. If people are willing to invest, let them invest. But let's create some rules to benefit the development of the sport.
Yeah, conditions.
I think that's that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. I don't think any club owner would say, "Oh, I have to increase my prize money for a youth development," or the perception is negative. I think it's totally fine.
Yeah.
To have prize money tournaments, but get a piece of that and focus on developing the sport. So the money is already there. Yeah. People are developing. You just create better rules.
Yeah.
To enable those Rio development programs,
Yeah.
right?
I
You're
think
right.
that's a great idea.
Yeah.
So, Rudi, is anything else that you wanted to ask you, or Alejo, you wanted to ask you about anything else?
No, thanks for having us.
Yeah,
You know,
thank you.
I think
Okay.
it's great to see you guys developing,
You
getting
too.
bigger.
Yeah.
You know, this is very great for the sport. And
Yeah.
as I was an executive now talking about Motorola, right? We love to see the development in the sport in this country. You know, we know Wayne has
Yeah.
been doing great things for the sport. So I think we all love the sport. We want it to grow or grow even faster than other
Yeah.
places in the world. And we know the
We're all-
opportunity in this country.
We're
So
on the same team, trying
Yeah,
to give exposure
absolutely.
to the battle.
Yeah.
We'll say
And
it.
in different ways, club owners, players.
So thank you for
broadcast.
for doing this.
Thank
Well,
Yes.
thank you for
Thank
coming
you.
on the show. You know,
Yeah.
Rudi, Alejo, and we wish you all the luck, okay?
Yeah,
Thank
appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Always
thank
a
you,
pleasure.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Rudi. Thank you.